What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be checking out some Steelers Bengals film. 520 yards, 7.9 yards per play, 59% success rate, and 44 points on the scoreboard. Y'all, this was an absolute Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith masterclass. Everything was working, and I mean everything. I'm excited to kind of share some of my favorite plays just from an execution and game planning standpoint to kind of show you guys what I liked about, kind of what transpired on Sunday. Just before we get started, please make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, drop me a comment. All those things greatly help out the YouTube algorithm, and I greatly appreciate that. So without further ado, let's ride. So this was one of the most simplistic game plans that I've seen really across the league this year, but I loved it for a lot of different reasons. And one of the things that you'll notice, like really when you watch the film back, was just how quickly Russ was getting rid of the ball. You noticed it on Sunday, but the numbers kind of bear it out too. 2.77 seconds time to throw. Russ was doing a really good job, just finding this check down. This is like the second drive of the game after the pick six. Cincinnati is going to be getting into like kind of a hot quarters look, so they're bringing five. They end up with a free rusher off a stunt, but Russ, as soon as he hits his back foot, he realizes the middle of the field's wide open, gets the ball to Harris. Harris, after the catch in this one, he had 54 receiving yards, ended up breaking 4 tackles. The backs were a huge part of the game plan. We'll kind of go over why that was, but just taking a lot of throws underneath, I felt like helped get Russ into a really nice rhythm. Just conceptually, you could really tell the area of the field that they were trying to attack when they were coming into this game. So this is this is the Matt Canada special. This is just old school shallow cross, but love the idea. Anytime you can get the ball to your best player just on the shallow cross here. Again, we get a free rusher, but it doesn't really matter because Russ gets the ball out on time. As soon as he hits his back foot, gets the ball out, the Bengals are just running like a 3 deep, 2 under kind of fire zone. But when Pickens gets the ball here, you'll notice like on the film, and you saw it live too, but the speed of the Cincinnati linebackers was a huge problem. Like their inside linebackers, off-ball guys, can't really run anymore, and they were able to take advantage of that really consistently, just with these throws underneath, check downs, things like that. And, they were running a lot of the same concepts over and over. They didn't really run a lot of plays in this one, if you can believe it. A lot of 2-by-2 formations. They were seeing a lot of split field coverages early. This is like a Tampa coverage from the Bengals. So you'll see their Mike linebacker at the logo. He's just kind of going to bail out and kind of get a lot of depth in his drop. You can see Russ, like as soon as he hits his back foot, okay, I'm going to get over the ball, check down. These all go or forwards concepts. Like the thing that I think gets most misconstrued with that play is like more often than not, the ball's going to go to the check down. That's where the ball goes most often. And it's really a good play, especially if you got these linebackers. Like, look how deep this Mike linebacker is. He's 10, 12 yards off the ball. And then Patterson just doing a good job putting his head down. And then you basically get, 18 yards on 2 dump offs that really travel about 5 yards in the air. It's an excellent process, take what the defense is being willing to give you. But this is like my favorite call from Arthur Smith on the game. I thought that this was actually one of my favorite calls that he's had all season, was a touchdown to Calvin Austin. They've been able to really, I feel like, use Calvin as this kind of speed slot guy. This was a great example of, knowing the exact type of coverage that you're going to get in this kind of almost towards like the high red zone area. The Bengals are going to be playing stubby. So basically all stubby is, they're trying to form a triangle and get a 3-over-2 read on the 2 innermost receivers for the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth, Calvin Austin. So once Freiermuth goes vertical and he kind of, gets more vertical than the linebacker depth, you'll see this safety, he's eyeing him the entire way. He's going to clamp down. And basically that's going to be a 2-on-1. And then you got Calvin Austin running the deep post. Now, the reason why you love this against this type of coverage is like off the bat, Mike Hilton, not a very good coverage player, so just knowing your matchup. But also, Mike Hilton's playing outside leverage. So you're getting a post or kind of a seam route outside leverage. Really nice stem here from Calvin to kind of get him to widen and give Russ an even better throwing lane to create even more space for himself. But one thing I want you to pay attention to is just look how early Russ is letting this ball go. This is like capital A anticipation. This is fantastic. So you'll see his hand separates right here. Calvin hasn't even broken. Like, he's not even with the DB. This is how much trust he has in the play, how quickly he was seeing the game this game. It was really impressive. You guys can kind of see this from the end zone angle with what I was talking about with the coverage too. Taking out to just keep your eye on 22 here. He's going to be on the number 3 right here, Pat Freiermuth. You can see as soon as he goes vertical, he has no choice. He has to clamp down on that kind of post or kind of end breaker right there. Look, Pat Freiermuth knows as soon as that safety is clamping down with him over the middle of the field, he knows it's going to be wide open behind him. And that's an excellent throw, excellent catch. Russ takes a shot, delivers a really nice, accurate ball. The Steelers ran the ball more effectively in this game than they had in previous weeks, and I think it was a combination of different things. I like the way that they were attacking the Bengals, but I also thought that Najee Harris had his best game in a couple weeks as well. This is just mid-zone to the weak side, one of their favorite run concepts. They actually don't have this blocked perfectly for Harris because nobody actually gets up to the Mike linebacker, number 59 right here. But you'll see really nice kick-out block here from Isaac Seumalo. Really nice hole. You get a really nice block there from Zach Frazier as well. But you'll notice, this linebacker is there to fill that gap. So Najee does a really nice job kind of setting him up, keeping his shoulders square, a little jump cut to get him kind of leaning, and then exposed to the hole for a really nice gain. Ends up being an even better play because they end up grabbing his face mask to get him down. So this was a highlight-worthy play, really, that I highlighted immediately off Twitter. I have to put this on here just because I want you guys to watch just the pancakes and the KO blocks really in succession here. The Steelers had a lot of success with this kind of outside zone, same side toss play from the gun. This is just blocked phenomenally, man. And I think that you're starting to see something with the Steelers offensive line is they're still definitely coming together. And I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a good offensive line right now, but I would say the young guys that they've inserted on the offensive line, in particularly Zach Frazier, have really changed the mentality and brought a really physical approach to the trenches, and it's one that I can really appreciate because I really just think it gives them an attitude that they haven't had in years past, to where even if they are losing blocks, they're going to play to the whistle. And I think you see that in particularly with 54, with 66, those type of guys. But you can see this is a really nice kick-out block here by Darnell Washington. Again, the ability for him, the Bengals are going to rotate into a 5-man front right here. The ability for him to kind of take on linebackers, again, good pad level, honestly, for a guy that's 6'7" right here. Running his feet, the ability to have him take on guys on the edge one-on-one is a huge advantage that not many teams kind of have. Again, look at Dan Moore. Throws this guy out the club, completely out of the play, and then you'll see Zach Frazier. This thing happens in succession. It's actually really beautiful. Zach Frazier, pancake block. Watch my guy Ben Skoranek, or our guy, I'll say Ben Skoranek, body slam the safety, who has really no intentions of he's kind of jogging to the play. He don't even really want to make that tackle, gets KO'd in the process. But, Russ, for as simple as the game plan was, Russ was making some pretty spectacular plays in his own right. He was on fire, man. One thing that you'll notice really all over the film, they ran a lot of these four verts concepts. We've already seen it a couple times in this game right here. This is an excellent job by Pat Freiermuth just to become, quarterback friendly, understanding that the quarterback's outside the pocket. I need to make myself available. We haven't really seen Russ make a lot of these plays. His numbers before and after holding the ball for 2.5 seconds are drastically different this year. So it was nice to see him get out the pocket and make a couple big time throws. This was a really nice anticipatory throw over the middle of the field that I really liked as well. The Bengals didn't play a ton of man coverage but when they did, it wasn't necessarily very successful either. This is a really nice job from Russ, really going 1-2. Looks like he's peeking the receiver up at the top of the screen. That's Mike Williams on the outbreaker. Comes back very quickly to find Michael Pruitt over the middle of the field. And you'll see, again, taking advantage of number 51 or 59, Davis Gaither, who's in there for Logan Wilson. That was a huge matchup advantage that they had. But you can see Russ kind of work 1-2. But watch what his hand separates right here. Pruitt's just now turning his head for this ball. It's excellent anticipation and a really nice play right there to get the ball over the middle of the field. We wanted to see more of that this season. Russ isn't necessarily known for that, but it's been, sparingly kind of surprising in certain stretches. So I've liked what I've seen from Russ, especially in this game. And if you're wondering why the Bengals didn't want to play a lot of single high and a lot of trust their corners on the outside, is because they didn't really have nobody that could deal with number 14. And most people don't. In man coverage this year, he's absolutely destroyed guys on the boundary, and this is no different. These are almost like layups, in my opinion, for Russ, for Pickens. This is really what they both do best. You don't see a lot of four verts type concepts like this from under center in today's day and age. But again, anytime we get this middle field close coverage, want to throw the ball up to 14, and Pickens does a really nice job here creating a little bit of late separation. You see the late hands to not give the corner an indicator that the ball's coming down to him. It's an awesome throw. And, it's kind of hard because, the passing game was so electric in this game that I wanted to make sure I included some run game stuff on here, just really because I really liked the way that Harris ran the ball when he was in there. against the Bengals. This is a really nice concept, one that we've seen a lot. I liked what they did in the run game in terms of like just making sure that they're running at Trey Hendrickson. They did some different things in terms of not only getting the ball out quick, they did some things in terms of like the screen game that I didn't put in this video to kind of keep him honest. But he's a very good pass rusher, a great pass rusher even. But he's not that great of a run defender. So you want to try to take advantage of him in the run game, run at him, make him play all 3 downs and not be able to just like pin his ears back. But I'm just going to pause it right here. I mean, look at this cutback lane. I mean, this is as good as it gets, man. Like, this is pretty awesome. Really nice block at the second level from Frazier there, just running the linebacker completely out of the screen. And then from here, this is where you need your first-round back, your lead back to kind of make guys miss, make something happen in open space to kind of turn, a 10-yard gain into a 20-yard gain and get those explosives. So I just really like the way that they attack the Bengals, making sure they're keeping Hendrickson honest, running at him, making things difficult. And then Russ's best moments in this game, a lot of the play calls that you saw were the result of good game planning, but also like him making things work at the line of scrimmage. Just in terms of like, I felt like from the neck up, he had a really strong game in terms of just knowing what the coverages were going to be, the things that the Bengals were trying to do to him from a rotation standpoint. They did a lot of like funky stuff. I don't think it was like sound defensive football in my opinion, but I understand that like the Bengals just don't have a lot of talent on defense right now. So they're just trying to pull just really tricks out the bag, if you will. But right here, they're it's not even cover zero showing because they don't even have anybody over the number 2 wide receiver up at the top of the screen. Our guy, Ben Skoranek, had to put this on here, just hitting him up the seam again. Again, this is 4 verts one more time. Right up the seam, you get these guys bailing out the line of scrimmage. Their backs are going to be turned. Just let it rip for another explosive play. 10 guys had catches in this game, man. Like, everybody got involved. It was really nice to see. Even some of the dirty work guys like Pruitt, guys like Skoranek, guys that are, normally in there to block, do the kind of the little things. They were able to kind of get the ball. It's always nice to kind of reward them. Kind of what I was saying earlier about just Russ making things happen outside of structure. This is just a mirrored 2x2 like stick quick game concept. He doesn't like it to the top of the screen. He's trying to work the stick route to Skoranek. Again, one of the things with like mirrored concepts is like if you don't like the front side and you end up having to pull the ball down, you either have to check it down or create, because there's nothing else like working into your vision from the other side. That's one of the reasons why I don't particularly love mirrored concepts like this. But Russ, this is almost like 2015 Russ. Doesn't like it to the top of the screen. Okay, I got to get out and create. Nice job maneuvering the pocket, finding a wide open Pat Freiermuth in the void end zone coverage. Now, one of the things the Bengals did on this play is this is actually drop 8. So they said, okay, you want to keep throwing the ball to the check down when we take away your first read. We're not going to leave the middle of the field open. They're almost trying to bait him into throwing the check down to Harris. You see the defensive lineman right there taking that away. Russ says, okay, that's fine. I'll just go out and do it myself. So it was nice to see Russ like really turn back the clock, honestly, with some of these plays, man, out of structure, doing some really nice things. Definitely the best game he's had in a Steelers uniform. I think it's like one of his best games really since like the Seattle days, like his pure prime. And the obvious caveat there is like this Bengals defense is not like a serious unit right now. They don't have a lot of NFL caliber players or guys that you really necessarily want starting for your team. But at the same time, like the Steelers did exactly what they needed to do. They kept the game plan incredibly simple, and they executed at a high level. Russ got the ball out quick, checking the ball down. Didn't get greedy when the big plays were there over the top. Like, he delivered. He made plays out of structure. And I thought Arthur Smith, man, I think sometimes coordinators can get a little bit too cute sometimes against these bad defenses, and they want to draw up all this stuff on the whiteboard that they think looks great to try to like impress people like me on Twitter with the film gurus, the film guys, if you will. Look at this cool concept. Like, sometimes it's as simple as like, hey, just let your guys go out there and play. And that's almost like what they did in this one. They kept things incredibly simple conceptually, but they executed at a high level. They did exactly what they had to do. There will be bigger tests ahead. They got Philly, they got Kansas City, some better defenses coming up. Of course, they got the revenge game coming up against the Browns as well. They'll probably need a little bit more in the bag than what they had to show in this one. But an awesome performance, man, like one that we haven't seen a lot of in Pittsburgh. So I appreciate you guys tuning in to the film room. As far as I would be back Saturday morning with the preview of the Browns game. Excited about that. And then for all of my YouTube channel members, we will be going over Iowa running back Caleb Johnson this week in the film room. So if you guys are interested in more content from me, I've been pretty much posting like an additional film room, whether it's like Steelers related, and then all of the NFL draft prospect film rooms will be over there as well. So the link to that is in the description of this video. You guys can feel free to check that out if you're interested, and I will see you guys later. Peace and love.